And here is Terry, my dad, who I really love. He's a science teacher, and he's also 52.
Yes. As she will be glad to tell her friends, older than dirt.
Recorded live from Studio 12A in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. You're listening to the Josh and Friends Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the Josh and Friends Podcast. I am your host. My name is Josh. And this week, the show welcomes a brand new guest to the program. As the oldest sibling to my mother, this guy excelled in many things over the years, including his days playing baseball and getting into a number of scuffles on the field, his past jobs working as a geologist, and then going on to become a teacher for many years. And we talk about his passions for hiking, skiing, and adding to his unique mineral collection. But we'll also discuss how he just missed out on getting drafted into Vietnam, his past relationships over the years to meeting his current wife, Geneva, and we talk about his ongoing battle with Parkinson's. So stick around for all these topics and more, including more details about the infamous bar brawl in Colorado. He is my uncle, the one and only, Mr. Terry Hanson. All right. Uncle Terry, how's it going, man?
Not bad.
It was good seeing you a couple months ago when you were down in Arizona.
Arizona was beautiful.
How's the weather there today?
Cloudy and cold.
Cloudy and cold? Oh, goodness. Okay, well. So, what city are you actually located in Wisconsin? Because you're calling us from Wisconsin here.
I'm in Marinette.
Is that closer to Appleton or Milwaukee or?
In relation to you?
I mean, you could do either one.
Well, I live on Pine Beach Road. It's in the south part of town. It's near the university.
Okay.
They've closed the university down.
Oh, wow. Well, why did they close the university down?
Declining enrollment, lack of money.
Gotcha. Well, I had Uncle Ted on a few episodes ago, and he's the youngest in the family. So I thought, we have to have the oldest in the family, the oldest brother, my mom's oldest brother. So now you grew up on the farm with Dub and Muggs, and you're. I know that the kids came fast, but you were able to. Were you working on the farm with Dub as well?
Yeah, I only was on the farm until I was 10 years old, but it was a perfect time to leave because my dad hurt his back. So he was in traction for 8 weeks. Had a tough time, talked it over, and Grandma, that would be Seal, Grandma loaned some money to Dub, and Dub took over the farm.
Oh, okay.
And that was a good time for me because we were just kids and we were running around and climbing trees. We had 80 acres of pine trees.
Oh, wow. Were you ever assigned chores to do, like,
oh, yeah.
when you were on the farm?
You know, clean out stalls, feed the cows with hay. You'd put hay down, and then on top of that, there'd be a grain. And they loved that, so they'd eat it right up.
And the farm was in Hortonville?
Yeah, Hortonia,
Okay.
The township of Hortonia.
I got you. Okay. So my mom, is like a few years younger than you. Do you have any crazy stories about my mom? I'm just trying to get some dirt on my mom here. Do you have any like funny stories or crazy stories about my mom? Did she ever get in trouble or?
I remember once down at the pool, the swimming pool was on the other side of town then. And I was inside, they had a dressing room, and I was out in front of the building. And this kid got out a knife and cut one of the straps. And she was shocked. And then they came out with me, and I came out, and I was going to beat the hell out of this kid. And then somebody said, cool down, Terry. I had nicknames too.
What were the nicknames?
Hammer.
Did you get in a lot of fights?
Coolie. Hothead.
You had a short temper back in the day.
Yeah, I did.
So what? Nothing happened with that story there.
Well, the kid was banished from the authorities came out, the director, and said, you're out of this place for a year.
Wow. That's crazy.
Which is a long time if you're in that culture.
Yeah. It's like an eternity. So, now speaking of, so you were a hothead, but you were also a really good athlete back in the day. So, like, what sports did you play back in high school and stuff?
Well, in first few times it was Little League, and I was the only kid to hit a home run for the whole year.
Wow.
And they had a big argument about it. I got a low ball from Moose Meshnick. And he gave me one that I really like, one of these nice low balls right down the plate. And I golfed that sucker way high. I mean, you had to really look up. And when it came down, it hit the top rung of that wire fence and broke it, and then continued on. One side argued for it's a home run. Can't you tell that it kept going? The other said no, but they broke up the fence. It should have gone over the car to the top.
So they were saying that because it went through the fence and like busted off the top or whatever, that it wasn't a home run?
Yeah.
Oh.
It would be like grabbing a piece of gravel as you're jumping over a fence,
Yeah.
How many pieces did you have? And be sure it was a fence.
But they gave it to you, right?
They gave it to me.
And you were the only one that year. So what grade was that?
Right. That was probably 1960.
Gotcha. So one of my favorite things is like when I came back to Wisconsin last time, we took like a tour of your old baseball field back in the day, and there's all these stories. There's all these stories. You were pointing at how far back that outfield is. It's like 470 something.
450. 450 was just the post saying 450. Then it went beyond that.
It's crazy. It's like a major league ballpark out there.
470 feet.
That's crazy.
I never had a ball hit over my head. Never.
That's like short fence to the right and ungodly long at the end, and the middle, and then left field was about 220, 230.
It's wild. But you were like, my mom would always like tell these stories about how she would be in the stands watching you, and you're like John McEnroe out there, like screaming and yelling and stuff like that. But you were also like a really good athlete, so it's like one of those things where it's kind of like, I mean, hey, this guy's a hothead, but it's fun to watch.
Oh no, Terry's mad. He's throwing his hat down. He's throwing his glove down. What is he doing now? He's kicking his all the way out to.
What would set you off in baseball that would get you so fired up?
What triggered it?
Yeah,
A bad call. Yeah, a bad call.
Bad call, or after a while, I couldn't do anything. If you go, at yourself.
Oh, you have some stories now?
Oh yeah, Terry getting called out, got pissed off, put his helmet on his back, kicked it. I'm a bat boy, so I gotta stay. He's gone.
You're the bat boy?
Yeah, and all of a sudden, like 2 innings later, there's Terry fucking sitting up on a stone eating the malt from the Dairy Queen, heckling around. So pissed off. Oh my God. You know?
But he's supposed to be in the game, but instead he's
Oh, he
not.
got kicked out. He got kicked out.
They got
ejected.
He came back and sitting there, you know.
On the
my
kick
God,
out
classic.
pistol, they had a hair trigger.
My dad wouldn't even go to him. I'd do all these crazy. I couldn't hit for shit. I couldn't hit at all. And I'd get a ball right down the middle and then swing under it. You know, I just needed more coaching, but it was just frustrating.
Yeah.
And I'd throw my bat. You know, everybody throws their bat down. I'd whip it way far off. And I'd argue with the coach.
Oh gosh.
Put me in. No, you don't deserve to be out there with the way you're acting. So we had Doc Borkert. He lived with his mom and loved baseball. So he was our coach, American Legion coach. And we had a love-hate relationship. If I was doing good, he was okay. If I was doing bad, he was on me.
Uh-oh.
And then I turned I turned against the umpires. And I'd throw the bat, place my helmet down like that, walk by it, and then kick it backwards.
Do they do anything to you, like, or do they just say, "Hey, calm down"? Or is there any way to punish people in baseball? It's not.
Well, you can kick them out of the game.
That's true.
The umpire. I've had that many times.
Did you ever get kicked out?
Even out in Denver, I was kicking things around. The worst one was Waiwiga. We played Waiwiga Legion team. We got into it with the other players. Little antics at home plate. And the whole thing, I started yelling at this umpire, and I think I said, worthless piece of shit. And he goes, "You're out of here." But the rest of us started coming in and getting into a draw, one of these push, shove. It never got to fisticuffs. It was just an argument.
Yeah.
But it then proceeded off the field, and we're shoving and grabbing. And 3 of us got suspended from the league.
Dang. So there's 3 people suspended after this big brawl you guys had. Did anybody get suspended off the other team, or do you guys didn't even know?
I was suspended, and we had one more game left in this season.
Uh-oh.
And we didn't have enough guys show up.
Oh, no.
So
Did you have to forfeit?
I had to play.
Oh, what? They still let you play?
They let me play. See, I was doing everything I wanted to do. I was already suspended. What the hell?
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
And we ended up turning out to be a good game.
There you go. Did you guys win?
I apologized and turned over a new leaf right there on the field because I had to.
Oh,
and
man.
we played the game and lost. And I walked out to the pitcher's mound, dropped my bat, went up, shook his hand.
That is funny. So, the Dairy Queen. The Dairy Queen was like, what, 1960? Or
61
what?
maybe.
61? Okay. So when he bought that Dairy Queen, you were still... Did you work at the Dairy Queen? I mean, didn't everybody work at the Dairy Queen? All the kids?
From the first day.
What were the duties that you had there?
I went in with my dad and he made all the improvements. He had training from a guy in Minnesota. And that's where Dairy Queen was founded, in Minnesota. And then it spread out. So this guy was working for the company. And he gave Dub all the hits. And then he improved. He didn't work year long. He worked basically January to September.
So the place was not open like year round?
No.
Gotcha. Okay. Because it's just like winter? Is that because of the winter time in Wisconsin, or?
Well, while it was closed down, my dad was a excellent carpenter. So he made an improvement. They used to have a one stall bathroom, and worse than that, there was a door open to the inside, so people could come inside the building, and you don't want them in there.
What the heck?
So he put in a brand new bathroom for the women and one for the men, and they weren't connected to the inside.
Oh, gotcha.
So every winter, there was a new list of things to do. So he'd order equipment, take care of the money. Now, when we got older, we got more trustworthy. And my dad, he'd have like a cigar box, and the money would go in there. And then we had to learn how to make change. His big money maker was hot beef, foot-long hot dogs, and barbecue.
Sounds good.
Well, people would come in and say, "Well, I want a hamburger and fries." We don't have any hamburger. We don't have any fries. We've got chips.
Just like
And
the
it said-
easy stuff, right? Like, because it was what do they call that? A brazier? Or what do they call the ones with food?
Brazier.
Okay.
Braziers made their money by charging for everything.
Now more and more, Dairy Queen.
Serve fine Brazier foods.
Raise your burgers,
Cooked to order. Brazier hot dogs.
French fries, other good things.
Live a little. Eat, drink, and be merry. Eat, drink, and be merry. Eat, drink, and be merry at the great new Dairy Queen.
Dub didn't charge. He didn't get charged by the product alone. So the company was charging him for the iced milk
Mm-hmm.
and not on the rest. So all the profit for the food and chips and whatever he wanted to buy, Dub got only the milk. So all the rest was profit.
Oh, wow. It's a good deal.
Yeah, it was. Aaron Ponco, right next door to us in a cottage, had the same river, a lot of fishing, and I learned to water ski on that river. And Aaron would go up to the hunting shack. They called it a shack at first. And they would all get a license together, and Dub and Aaron would play cards, BS around, get drunk, and then it's time to go out in the woods and look for deer.
I remember Tim always like imitating him, and he's like, Aaron Ponco. Tim would go, "Hey, dabber, 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 dabber."
Hey, Dubby.
I'd always like laugh. I laugh my ass off at that. It's so funny.
Hey, Dubby. What do you say we go outside? It was primitive. It was, just the bare means. And over the years, he improved it. First, he put in there was no toilet at first. So you go out, they called it the piss hole. They'd pee on the ground.
Oh, the outhouse?
Yeah. But I watched, Dub was a hard worker. He borrowed a scoop cat truck with a bucket. And bucket by bucket, he would go down and dump it on the property. See, every year before this, the water would come in because you're right next to the river. And you couldn't drive your vehicle out there. So he rose the land, the cottage, by a couple feet, but we didn't have any flood anymore. Put a new foundation in it. And then later on, they decided they didn't have enough room. They had one big great room and everybody slept there. Well, now they built a second room on the back that was just for bunk beds.
I remember going to that cottage, and they still had the outhouse there. And I don't know, like, have you gone back to that place to see what it looks like now, or?
No, I don't go there much anymore.
Yeah.
But somebody hooked it up so they could live there. You had to run a electrical line, and you had to, the sewer was still primitive, but better than it was. And we had parties.
Did you have good
In
parties out
the
there?
bar, there were two places we would go that stick in my mind. One was the pit. It was an old gravel pit by the cemetery on Beacon Avenue, and you'd turn back up the hill, and behind the quarry, there'd be rocks and trees and enough room to park your car. And then we get this big bonfire going. And of course, beer was involved. Beer was involved in all my time at that time.
Yeah, isn't that a staple for Wisconsin? Cheese and beer? Isn't that like good? They go hand in hand?
Well, in other states, when they have a beer, no, that was fine, tasty, Thank you very much. In Wisconsin, you drink to get drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. When Tim came out one time, and I was like, "Hey man, you want to try this new beer?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'll just take like a whatever." And it was just like the junkiest beer we had. It's like, yeah, it's nice beer. Like Todd was like obviously really big into the good beers and stuff like that. Which, I mean, I love good beer too, but yeah, it's they always say I pointed this out with Ted. They always say like out of the top 20 cities in the country, Wisconsin has a good 10 of them.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Different culture. It's just like they like to drink. They like to drink. There's more dive bars per capita in Wisconsin probably than anywhere in the country.
I believe that.
So did you ever get any? You said that Dub used to drink pretty heavily back in the day. Was he an angry drunk, or was he just like did he get on you? Like, did he get angry at you? Did you have any times that you had like get in trouble with Dub back in the day?
We had a time where we were in construction on the brick house, and you've been there.
Yeah.
And we used to climb up the pole and go across well, I'm the one who figured it out. You had to get up there. Well, just climb the pole. And then once we got up the pole, that gave us access to the roof. And the roof slanted down onto the new addition, but the windows hadn't been upgraded yet. So it was just two windows up and down with a screen. And I figured out if I get that open, I'm in my bedroom. And once I'm in my bedroom, I have access to the rest of the house.
It's a game changer.
And during construction, Tim and I were supposed to be picking up and cleaning up, and we got up to the store. They had a little store called Meshke's. They had a little candy rack. And you'd have penny Tootsie Rolls. That'll be 5 cents. 5 cents. It was 6 cents last time. The thing that we found was a little bottle called Vampire Blood. It really looked like blood. And we got that thing, and I posed Tim on the boards, laid back like this. And it was supposed to be for my mom.
Uh-oh.
My mom looked out the window. Dub just happened to be coming home. This was not planned for him. And I had put blood on Tim and had him like this, and it looked like...
Oh, man.
And my dad goes, "Tim!" He was really...
He's freaking out.
And I'm not there. I'm up in the window watching, just like the window where Muggs watched. Dub, you better go see what happened to that kid. He comes running around, and Tim, what happened? He had the blood in the mouth. I thought and Tim couldn't help it. He started laughing.
Uh-oh.
My dad goes, "You son of a bitch!" And he tried to kick him. And I got this image. Tim is faster than Dub, but Dub is keeping up and trying to kick him in the ass on the way.
Oh, that's great. It seems like, did Tim get in the most trouble out of all the kids, or am I just like imagining this in my head?
Yeah, I'd say that. He had Robbie. He had his friend Robbie. They do a lot of things together.
That's
I once
funny.
watched Robbie. You get flies. You can catch them with your hand.
Mhm.
He would take a piece of his long hair, tie it around the foot of the fly, and let it go, and he'd have a little.
Whoa.
The fly would be flying around.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Who
I've never
would
even
think
heard
of
of
that?
something like that.
I wouldn't even think of that.
That's crazy.
But Tim got in a lot of trouble.
That's funny. That's funny. Man, that's great. Terry, now when you graduated high school, did you go to college?
Yes. My college career is checkered.
Okay.
I went to school in '69, avoided the military draft by about 50. I think my number was 176. So in college, freshman year, first semester grades come out, I had a D in chemistry. Well, chemistry was it was a 5-credit chemistry course, really tough. I had chemistry in high school and they didn't do very much.
But in college, it was a different story.
In the first semester, my grades were low because I was smoking pot.
What college was this? Which college?
Oshkosh.
Oh, Oshkosh. Okay.
Oshkosh was known as a party school and a drinking school. If you wanted to go to college in Wisconsin, Oshkosh was the place to go.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, then after my first semester, second semester, I just dropped out.
Okay.
Met up with a bunch of friends, had a good time, and then I got a job at Hillshire. And Hillshire was a meatpacking plant south side of the city. And they paid good. And I started getting a little money in my pocket. Quite a bit of money for 3 months. So my first summer I was working. And I worked there that summer, 2 summers, and quit. And then I decided to come back to college. And that's when I met Sherry. And Sherry was romantic, if you know what I mean.
Okay. This is like one of your girlfriends?
Yeah. But it was the first time in my life that I have enough money and was able to do things.
Mm-hmm.
I walked a lot when I was a freshman. Walked with Dave Marine. Dave Marine just died this year.
Oh, man.
He was probably my best friend.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And I got to transfer from Oshkosh to UW Milwaukee. So now I'm down in Milwaukee and I'm learning that culture. I lived on the east side on a house called Donner Avenue. And the university was right across the road from Downer Avenue. And the combination of having Sherry there, she was like a real hot wife,
Mm-hmm.
Only she wasn't married.
Oh, gosh. Wait, she was married?
No, we discussed that, but we weren't ready. We were just kids.
Okay.
Well, the romance lasted from first semester, about 82, to back to work. This time I got a job at Kerwood. And Kerwood and working at Hillshire made me convinced that I was going to be a factory guy.
Make some money at those jobs, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't like working. All these guys, Kerwood included, they just. I was there in the summer, but I wasn't comfortable. I didn't see myself being a mill rat. That's what they call them. And then I was painting for a guy, Ron Benchwall. He was out of Green Bay. I was still living at home. And I worked the summer there, and I met a girl named Ann Sayers. And Ann Sayers was hot for me.
That's always good.
She lived in Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. And her dad had made mini malls.
Oh,
and
wow.
he was wealthy. And I said, we should move to Colorado together. She said, all right. So without any warning to anybody, I just said, going to Colorado.
Wow.
Took my stuff, Ann and me drove to Colorado.
Wow. Just out of the blue. Just you're like, you know what? What made you decide to go to Colorado? Like what out of that state over all the other states?
I had been there before.
Okay.
On a spring break. I had a Plymouth Duster, a straight 6. Your 6 cylinders all on a slant. And Ann and I left in December of that year. And the playoffs were still going. And it was called Orange Fever.
Oh, okay. So the Broncos.
Denver Broncos. My relationship with Ann was on the rocks. So I had to get another place. And Tina, once we got to Denver, Tina moved in with me.
How'd you meet her?
I was back for my brother Tim's wedding.
Oh, wow. So you actually met your future wife, Tina, in Wisconsin?
Right.
Okay.
No, Tina was going to school at Oshkosh.
Okay.
And I met her. We had a party just drinking upstairs in the dorms.
Okay.
And we were coming back. Nobody was around. And we got a little frisky. Tina was in Oshkosh. I was in Denver. I ended up marrying Tina. That was in 82.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And Tina and I lived in Denver. And we went skiing. I taught Tina how to ski. I taught your mom how to ski, too.
Huh.
So we're living in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what we're going to do. So we got up to, I wanted to take them to a good place, a good ski hill, and the biggest one. And it's there today. It's called Vail.
Mm.
And I taught your sister at Vail, your mother. We were all going to go skiing together. And the night before we went to ski, we decided to get drunk. And your mom and Tina stayed home, and the rest of us went out to have another drink. And I went to this bar called the road was the same thing as the bar, Isle of Park Saloon.
Okay.
And we got into the saloon, and it was just a normal night, just having a few beers. And somebody started arguing with the bartender. The bartendress, the girl bartender. And next thing you know, they're grabbing each other and swinging each other, and they get out the door. And Tom was drunk and he fell backwards. And we got outside, and the fight continued outside. and they started kicking and pounding him. And I'm like, what the hell happened here? It was nice and calm, and now it's really screwed up. So the fight dribbled on. Everyone was kind of calmed down. And the guy comes up, hey, there's a big fight up there. We're in the car ready to go home. And I asked him, what does he look like? Oh, a little blonde kid about this. Oh, shit, it's Tom.
Oh, gosh. It's always Tom.
Todd, who's nonviolent, he didn't get out of the car. But the three others of us, Ted, Tim, and me, got out of the car and ran up to where the fight was. Meanwhile, Ted gets into play.
Ted's a pretty big guy back then, too, huh? Big dude.
There were too many of them. He was trying to fight like 4 guys.
Oh, gosh.
You know, he was in the military. I'm big, strong.
Yeah.
And the other guys are still kicking. And I come up to the fight. And I'm trying to peel this guy off. Tom was on the bottom. So the idea is peel him off. And the other guy had got me in a bear hug. And he was big. There's nothing I could do. So the fight settled down some more. And I kicked at this guy. He had me around, the other guy had me around the waist like this. So I didn't do anything. I just walked around where this guy wanted to walk. Well, he walked on close enough that I reached out and kicked him.
Uh-oh.
And then it looks like in slow motion, this guy comes out of here, wham, hit me right in the face.
Did he knock you out, or did you get a black eye?
Then the cops came over to arrest everybody. They said they started it. And I didn't say, we didn't start it, you started it.
Oh, man.
And the cops started arresting people. They arrested Tom, of course. And the guy he was rolling around the floor, he got arrested. And I think Ted did. Ted had a tough time that day.
Oh, man.
Anyway, how'd we get home? The cops got together in a huddle, there were 5, 6 of them. And here's what we've come up with. Are any of you that can drive a car? Todd drove up with the car. We all get in the car, Ted, Tim, and Tom, and go back home. And your mom and my wife, I told you not to go down there because Tom was all red and beat up. Ted had his shirt torn off.
Oh, gosh.
I had a big swelling on my face.
Oh, my God.
And we all went to bed.
Now, did you wake up? Did you actually go to the ski slopes after this?
Yeah.
You did?
Except for Tom. He said, no, I don't think I want to go. Of course, he was all beat up. He wasn't good in any shape to go skiing.
Oh, man.
Now, that's where I taught your mom how to ski.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And she remembers it, too.
Man.
So that's it.
So what year did you decide did you go back to school to become a teacher, or how did you become a teacher again?
We left Colorado in 1990. Denver was in recession. There was no jobs. I had just decided we're leaving. My brother Ted called me up and said, you know, Madison, I got a letter from Madison on teacher availability. And I called up Madison School District and he said, well, we don't have any jobs right now, but we have room. You'd be a substitute teacher. And it made sense because sub teachers is a hard way to go. So I subbed in Madison for about a year. And I applied for a job, and West Bend came up, close to home, nice roads, not too far from Milwaukee. And we really put some roots down there. We were back in Wisconsin. We could drive up and see the folks and the kids and everything. And West Bend started to get bad. I had an administrator, Jennifer Reinert. I'll never forget that name. And I wasn't teaching right. I wasn't teaching correctly. So I was laid off. Basically fired. They call it non-renew.
Is this when you were a sub, or is this when you were actually like a full-time teacher?
Full-time at West Bend.
Okay, what were you teaching? Was this
Earth science? And one semester, right before I left, I taught geology.
Okay, so science and geology?
Earth science.
Oh, earth science. Okay.
And geology. Geology was a step up from earth science. Well, gotcha. I had all this oil field experience. I knew I had been there.
Yeah.
I didn't read it in a book. I was actually doing it as a mudlogger. And I actually did it was a field promotion. My boss needed a geologist because the other guy was moving to California, the other geologist. And he took off, and I said, hey, why don't you recommend him to me? So Tom drove out to see me one more time, and he goes, how would you like to be a geologist? Awesome. And $30,000 is a lot, but as a geologist, I could earn more.
Yeah.
And I was a geologist till the end of the summer. Now, in 91, there was a Mideast crisis. There was a war in the Mideast, and that had to do with oil. And there were no petroleum jobs. Denver used to be Denver and Houston were the two big players. So I said, let's move back home. And we decided to get out of Denver because there weren't any jobs. I said, let's get out of here. Tina did not want to leave Denver. She had friends, ties. She thought we were going to live there. And we drove back to Wisconsin, still married. Had a good job, West Bend, paid fair, 3-year probation. I put in 2. And on the 3rd year, late in the school year, Jennifer Reinert comes up and says, I'm going to have to non-renew you. And I did. I got non-renewed.
Did you move on to a different district or?
Yeah, in Racine, it was a big district at Starbuck Middle School. Little Puerto Rican kid. He was in the back of my classroom messing around, take the meter stick, whipping it, kind of ninja stuff. But it had a metal clip on the end. And that, in most people's eyes, wouldn't be anything. But in teachers' eyes, that's bad news. So I get a letter, go see the principal. I got to give you a couple days off just to make it look good. He didn't want to fire me, but he had to.
Did you stop the kid from swinging that thing around or what?
I took 2 days off from school, and the first day I was just livid. And on the 3rd day, he said, I have a letter here for you. from an attorney. Come to find out, it was the attorney of the kid who hit me.
Oh, that kid ended up hitting you?
He actually hit me. I went back in the lockers, and I got to the principal. He came up and escorted the kid down, and he said to me, "Don't quit. I know you're hurting. I know you're feeling bad. Don't quit." So that was the end of that year.
Crazy.
So I looked in the papers, and I got a job in Peshigo, teaching earth science, and I took it. And Peshigo was a step up from Racine or West Bend. So we moved again. You know, Tina is with me on all these trips.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got divorced.
Oh, wow.
I got divorced in 2000. And Tina was still there, but she got cancer.
Oh, my goodness.
And a little bit after that, I got Parkinson's.
Oh, wow. When did you meet Geneva? Was that before or after you?
Geneva and I were married August 8th of 2008. 888.
When did you meet her?
We first met at a cookout.
Okay.
And it was a singles club. And I had the kids there, Rachael and Landis. And the kids were kicking the ball around, and Geneva was watching me.
Did she come up to you, or you go up to her, or what?
Well, we had met, but we didn't know each other. And we went on a date. Tour of waterfalls. And the waterfall tour was in Marinette County. And Marinette County's got a lot of waterfalls. And they still advertise it today as a tour. But on this first date, it was raining, and we kept missing our route. And then it would start raining. So we'd sit in the car and let it rain. And it was raining for a while, and then it stopped. Okay, so we get out. And I try to, and this went on for a while. And I'm kind of liking this girl. So we took the waterfall tour, stopped for ice cream on the way, and went home. And my kids said, "You guys spend so much time together. You do everything for each other. You act like a married couple. Why don't you get married?" And I said,
"Good point.
Yeah, why not?" So we got married, and we moved to Peshigo.
So I'm really fascinated by this too. So like, was it like soon after that you met Geneva that you started, like, how did you discover that you had Parkinson's? What was like the first like
Geneva?
symptom?
I had Parkinson's in Peshigo.
Okay. What was the first symptom like that you realized? You're like, what? Something's not right here.
Right here.
Oh, really? Did you start shaking, or
the thumb only?
Oh, really?
And I went down the hallway and showed it to the teacher, and it did it. The thumb went like that. And Bonnie said, "You've probably got Parkinson." I'd have a look. See, go to a doctor. I went to a neurologist, Dr. Kaufman.
Mm-hmm.
And Kaufman did the examination, and he said, "I think you've got Parkinson." So he started treating me for Parkinson's. Little white pills.
What was going through your mind at that time? Because like I always pictured you as like, you were always like, I'm really like kind of like you in that I'm like high strung. I'm like, I was, always like, hey, let's go. Let's get this going here, and you're kind of like, you were kind of like that too. You're like, hey, what's going on? And then you just like take off. And I'm like, man, Terry's like really going and coming and going over here. And so like, when you hear something like that and you see people that have gone through this disease, there's very public people that have had this disease. What was going through your head?
Well, you try to stay positive.
Yeah.
And I had the advice from Dr. Kaufman.
I think you told me, I don't know too much about this, but you have like some sort of device that like releases like the meds.
Duo pump.
Okay.
Patients with advanced Parkinson's disease can have an increasingly tough time regulating their medication. Now they may have a better way, though, to keep their drugs and their daily lives more consistent. Leslie Mouton reports on the drug system named Duopa, which is the FDA recently approved treatment.
Retired surgeon James Moore has been fighting Parkinson's disease for 15 years. His body was absorbing the pills he took to control his Parkinson's unpredictably, meaning it didn't always work.
It might take me 20 minutes to walk 40 yards.
He heard about a clinical trial for Duopa, a gel delivered by a portable infusion pump. It bypasses the stomach straight into the small intestines for 16 hours. His wife convinced him to sign up.
But I didn't know how great it would be at all. And boy, am I glad I did, or my wife made sure I did, because it has really changed my life.
Dr. Daniel Trong says the biggest benefit is consistent drug delivery and absorption.
This one, you know that it's there, and it will lead directly to the place it will get absorbed.
Now, instead of waiting 45 minutes for a pill to work, the infusion gets James on his way in just 2.
I have to keep track because I'm old. I have to keep track of what's happening. Every time you pump that and you get the response that you want, it's like a little beep. You write it down. And every 2 hours, and sometimes I get lost or I forget to do it, and because there's a continuous flow, the extra flow is 5 doses rather than 1.
Wow.
So as long as you keep track of the Geneva does most of the work.
So that thing's been a game changer though, right? I mean, it's like compared to like those pills that you were taking, right?
It's funny. The Parkinson's is only on the right side of my body. My left doesn't shake. It's shaking a little bit now. But see the difference?
That is so crazy.
And when I do, it's like a battle with it. To stop the flow, I'll put pressure on it. So I'll be sitting on here, and what's happening is my knee is hitting my hand, which is already shaking, and the two kind of cancel out. But it's not just there; it's everywhere in your body. So you cross your leg. I've got my right leg over on top of my left leg, and that decreases it. So I'm in a constant two-hour intervals each day, and as long as I keep pretty good track of it, I know when to go to bed.
Wow.
Like I said, Geneva does most of the work. She casts me. She punches in the numbers on the pump, and of course all the other household chores.
Thank goodness for Geneva there, right?
She's wonderful.
Yeah. So, Terry, if you're up to it, I do have a speed round of random questions. If you want to answer some random questions. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Because I did this with Ted too, so we gotta mix it up here. All right. So, Terry, does pineapple belong on pizza?
No.
All right. Okay, here's one. Because I know you're a music guy, or you used to be a big music guy back in the day. I remember going through your 45s that were back at Dubs and stuff like that. I'm like, whoa, whose are these? And Mom was like, they're probably Terry's or Ted's, or I'm sorry, Terry's or Todd's, because they were like the guys, big into music and stuff back in the day. Who is your favorite band, group, or artist?
There's so many.
I know. You could name a couple if you want.
The Eagles.
Eagles, all right. That's a good one. Love me some Eagles. All right. What's the best NFL game you ever gone to in person? Do you know? Do you remember?
It was Denver versus Seattle. No, wait. It was the Packers. And the quarterback was Matt Hasselbeck. And it went into overtime.
Oh, no. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Is this the one where he's like, I want the ball and I'm going to score or whatever?
Yes.
Oh, great. Oh, man. You were at that game?
Yeah.
Oh.
Both Geneva and I were.
Oh, man. That's painful.
She calls it our first hug. Because Hasselbeck got up to the line of scrimmage, and Geneva later tells me there was something wrong. It didn't look right. They looked confused. Seattle.
Just threw a pick right to your guy. Right to him.
The cornerback, Al Harris, jumped the route, coming down the field right toward us. I said, he's going to score.
Were you guys in the end zone?
We were in the end zone right in front of me, but the crowd barrier blocked our view. So we didn't see it, but the players and the fans were going crazy because of that. It was a late touchdown.
Man, that was crazy. Oh, man. Can't believe you're at that game. Well, I'm glad I wasn't at that game, but I'm happy that you were at that game. How about this? I don't know if you eat cereal, but what's your favorite cereal of all time?
Granola.
We all know granola is great tasting, but there's another side to it. Fat. But Kellogg's low-fat granola has half the fat and all those big clumps of great taste. Kellogg's low-fat granola. For today's granola fans, great taste, half the fat.
Terry, what's the best concert that you've ever attended?
I think it was in Boulder. My brother Tom was there. We were drinking. Tom had a gallon container, like a milk gallon container, only he filled it with rum and something else.
Oof.
I was drinking beer all night.
What was the concert? You guys even remember the concert?
The concert started off with John Mellencamp.
Oh, okay. I've seen John Mellencamp.
He played his set, but towards the end of the set, he got pissed off because they weren't going to raise the volume loud enough. But that's what they do. They give less volume. Then the second band comes on, and they got more volume. Mellencamp wanted to be the third band. First band was John Mellencamp. The second one was Jethro Tull.
Oh, wow. Okay. I've seen them too. Nice.
The third one was The Who.
Oh, wow.
And that is my best concert.
That's awesome. Did you ever go to Red Rocks?
Yep.
I always wanted to go to Red Rocks. Place looks awesome.
Red Rocks is cool. It's the fountain formation. Big blocks that are stacked up like cards. The geology is one of the first things I did when I moved to Boulder was go up the Flatirons fountain formation. And I just hiked around up there. The fountain formation, also Garden of the Gods. And that's in Colorado Springs. Geneva and I joke about it. All these murder mysteries that they go through. Joe Kenda. Joe Kenda is like this super cop. He's an investigator. He doesn't wear a badge or anything. He's a like a detective.
Yeah.
And all of these are set in Colorado Springs. All of the crimes.
Oh.
Geneva, we love that show.
Yeah, my dad and brother, they're big into that show too. Yeah. All right, just a couple more here. Just a couple more. All right. If you had to choose, what's your favorite candy bar or go-to sweet?
Snickers.
Snickers, boom. Can't go wrong with Snickers. All right. What is your what's the most memorable vacation that you've ever taken?
My kids were young. I had a 98 Plymouth Voyager. And we took a trip with Rachael, Landis, me, and Geneva. We ended up at your mom's.
Oh, really?
Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, and Peshtigo.
You guys did like the whole Griswold's vacation, huh? Like all throughout
Yep. Packed up food. Geneva took care of the food.
Awesome.
Had headphones for the kids. Had a little TV.
Sounds awesome. See all the attractions on the way, all the the little stops they have like on the
Wall Drug.
side roads.
Wall Drug we went to. Went to the Black Hills. Saw the dinosaur. And we saw the presidents.
Oh, in
Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
But not like you see it in pictures, but right on it. And they gave a concert. Very patriotic. Custer's Last Stand. The highway right now runs right next to it. They gave a lecture about what happened at Little Bighorn. And the guy doing the lecture was an Indian. They have an Indian reservation nearby.
Wow.
And he told it from the Indians' point of view. And it's
That
quite
is
different.
Yeah, I bet.
But I love studying the Black Hills. I had rock samples from the Black Hills.
That's cool. That's a cool time. Okay, so did you collect baseball cards back in the day?
No.
No. Okay.
I collect minerals.
There you go, minerals. So do you have a big rock collection?
I'm in progress on one that'll be better than any one I've done.
Really?
It's a box with little squares. It's all in squares. It's clear glass. And inside I've got examples. They have to be fairly small, probably about half as big as your fist is the size of one compartment. And I've got a belemnite. That's a fossil ocean sample. So it's a hardened version of a part of this animal that built chambers of belemnite, it's called.
Huh.
I've got fool's skull. And I've got a tooth, a T-Rex tooth. It's plastic.
Whoa.
And they've got it painted up to look like a tooth.
That's pretty cool.
And it's about that big, tapered down to a point.
Whoa.
I've got sodalite. Sodalite is used in manufacturing. I have both a rough and a polished. The rough sodalite is blue and white. And then the polished one looks like a stream rock, only very, very shiny. The kind of shiny you'd have in a really highly polished marble.
Wow.
I've got magnetite. Magnetite is the only rock or mineral that is magnetic. These are what they call, they're for cows. They're shaped smooth, and you can lower it down and it'll pick up anything that's attracted by the magnet. We just use them for a toy. So anyway, we'll put the rest of them on a picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Terry, what's the furthest place you've ever traveled to?
Prudhoe Bay, Alaska.
Oh, okay.
And second to that would be Hawaii.
Right on. What part of Hawaii did you go to?
Flew in on the Big Island. We were coming back from Prudhoe Bay as assistants, as helpers. That paid a lot. But while I was at Prudhoe Bay, the guy said, "You're going to take the triangle flight." And I said, "What triangle? What do you mean?" Well, he said, "You're already in Alaska. You're already in Prudhoe Bay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll trot you down to Anchorage. And from Anchorage, we flew to Hawaii."
Wow.
I got off the plane in Hawaii. I had a down jacket over my shoulder.
How long is that flight? Sounds like a long flight.
The flight going up to Prudhoe Bay was exciting, because you could see things. I stayed there a couple of days getting my equipment ready, because you have to pack for an Arctic climate. Prudhoe Bay is also the place where the pipeline is, the Alaska pipeline. I had watched them bring it. They were setting up for it. And then when I came back, we got some grass, weed. And it dawned on me, I'm in Hawaii. They got the best reputation for weed in the world. And these kids were riding by us on bicycles, always moving, probably so they couldn't track you. But I got a little bit of, just a few buds, and we took some of it, and it was a dream.
What year was this? When was this?
1981.
Oh, okay, early 80s.
Yeah.
Awesome. Talk about going from one extreme to the other extreme in just one flight. Like, that's awesome.
I've taken long flights, a lot of long flights with Geneva.
Yeah.
From here to Salt Lake many times, because Geneva had relation and I had relation living there.
Nice. All right, Terry. You know what? I know you have stuff to do here. I'm not going to keep you too long here. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Go Pack.
All right, on that note, go Pack.
You're not a Packer fan, are you?
I am a Seahawks fan. I'm an old Seahawks fan. So
how about Andy?
Andy's a Seahawks fan. My mom grew up with the Packers, but she's been living in Seattle for.
She doesn't know who to vote for.
Yeah, she's a pretty big Seahawks fan at this point.
She got in our crib once or twice.
Yeah.
And then she'd joke about it. I'm so good. What I'll do is just pick the opposite of everything that is put in the papers. Now that didn't work.
Oh man. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot today, so I appreciate you, taking the time out to spend with me here. So maybe we'll see you soon when we're coming up to Wisconsin. I don't know when, but hopefully soon. And we'll have to hook up for a beer or something. All right.
So you leaving me?
I am leaving you. I mean, it's not forever. but just for now. For Terry Hanson, I'm Josh. And as always, thank you for being a friend.